What's up, everybody? Welcome to the newest episode of the Debate Mates. I'm Matthew, and I'm joined by Coach Z. And today we are going to be predicting who will win the awards that the NBA gives out at the end of the regular season. And we're also going to be playing some good pick, bad pick, where I'm going to review Coach Z's fantasy basketball team.
Yeah, let's go.
So make sure to stick around for the whole video to see that. We're getting close to 150 subscribers, so make sure you continue to subscribe and share and like the videos, comment what you want us to do. And like I've been teasing, we're going to do something really big for 200 subscribers. So please continue to subscribe. I guarantee you guys are going to want to see that. Without further ado, let's just get into it.
Yeah, let's go, man.
We obviously don't want to put all the good awards in the front, or no one's going to watch till the end. We're going to mix them in a little bit. So let's start with, for the first award, we'll go with the first-year players. Coach Z, who is your pick for Rookie of the Year, and then who is your sleeper pick?
Okay, and do you want me to steal both of them? You're not going to have a pick. Unless you're going to choose LaMelo Ball, because I'll never choose him for any award. But that's partly because of his dad. So my pick, this is a good one. Being a Golden State fan, I want to choose Wiseman, but I'm really reluctant. I haven't really seen him play in preseason I think he's one of the two with the COVID scare that they didn't release, but so happened him and Draymond just sit out like the first 3 preseason games. I'm going to go with Obi Toppin from the New York Knicks, only because he reminds me of like a Steph Curry, Ja Morant type of college career where he wasn't highly recruited. You didn't know a lot about him, but he led the nation in scoring. And we all know in Rookie of the Year categories, who's the Rookie of the Year? The number one flashiest stat that you'll ever see is points scored a game. They don't care about rebounds. They don't care about defense. They don't care about steals and blocks. It's how many points you can get a game. And I think playing in New York, he's going to have an opportunity to score a lot of points. So he's kind of my favorite. I've looked at him in preseason, saw some good things. And then my sleeper is, I got to go homer status here. I'm going to go James Wiseman. I think he's like one of the most NBA-ready prospects, and he fits into that organization great. They haven't really had a decent center since, I would say, Andrew Bogut. But if he could kind of be like Clint Capella was in the Houston heydays, where he's running off that high pick and roll, he's catching lobs from Steph Curry to get his points, and then just focus on the defensive end, rebounds, and blocks, I think he can have a pretty good rookie average line and contend for Rookie of the Year.
So Coach, last episode you were stealing Jack's notes with the playoffs. This episode, my Rookie of the Year pick is Obi Toppin as well.
No way.
And how dare you say Andrew Bogut was the last solid center the Golden State Warriors had, as if Zaza Pachulia didn't almost start the All-Star game in 2016 and 2017.
That is so funny. Is Zaza responsible for hurting James Harden for us to propel ourselves to the
So, I went with Obi Toppin for all the reasons you named. Plus, another thing that fans love and people love when voting on Rookie of the Year is highlights. And Obi Toppin is one of the most athletic players in the draft. He'll have some Zion Williamson-esque highlights, some dunks. He's not going to be afraid to dunk on people. And my thought process was really not like who is the best rookie, but what rookie is going to have the most opportunity.
Yep.
And LaMelo Ball is coming off the bench in the preseason so far. Obviously, that could change. But with Hayward, Devontae Graham, who was in the running for most improved last year, Terry Rozier, I don't know if he's really going to get – if they're smart, they give him the keys. But we have to wait and see on that.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is going to be with D'Lo and Karl Anthony Towns, so not a whole lot of opportunity there. Wiseman is going to be with Curry. Draymond's going to get a little bit more of the spotlight. Oubre and Wiggins now too. So he falls down pretty low on the totem pole. So really, for me, the only 2 teams that don't really have anything are the Knicks and the Pistons. So it was between Obi Toppin or Killian Hayes. A lot of people were saying Killian Hayes looked like he was the most NBA-ready prospect. But, they still have Blake Griffin there. The Knicks have nobody. Mitchell Robinson, he had a pretty good field goal percentage last year, but he's not going to get any highlights. RJ Barrett, we're still waiting to see if he can improve. But for me, it's got to be Obi Toppin. He's going to have highlights. He's going to get the opportunity. He's going to be an MSG. So it's got to be him. And my sleeper pick, I went with a mega sleeper pick here.
Okay,
I went with, from the Washington Wizards, Cassius Winston. Part of this might be a Maryland homer pick because he played in the Big Ten.
Yes.
But when I was watching the Wizards and the Nets game, the preseason game, one of the announcers brought up a really good point comparing him to Kyle Lowry, because they have similar body types. They don't look like they're going to blow past you, but they can. They're great like at controlling the tempo of a game. They're good passers. They know what's going on. They're really high basketball IQ. Cassius Winston played for Tom Izzo at Michigan State for 4 years. Kyle Lowry with Jay Wright, both pretty legendary college coaches. So there's some similarities there. And for a sleeper pick, I go big or go home. I'm not going with a first-round pick. I'm going with somebody that you've never heard of.
That would be one of the greatest calls of all time. And good thing we'll have this on the internet so it could stand the test of time forever.
If I get this right, we're going viral. I guarantee I'm the only person that picked Cassius Winston as a sleeper pick.
Absolutely, you are.
So, obviously behind Westbrook and Beal, I'm kind of contradicting myself because he's not.
Yeah, I know. I've like minutes, opportunities, touches, shots. You have Westbrook on that team.
Westbrook, maybe as he gets towards, I don't want to say the end of his career, but, he's starting to get towards that part where I have a feeling he'll get a lot of injuries or be more injury prone. Maybe Cassius Winston slides in there as the starting point guard sometimes if Westbrook gets any injuries. If not, I see him being a solid piece off the bench if he ever plays. So that's why he is my mega sleeper pick. I don't think he'll win it, but if he does win it, I'm going to look like a genius. So Cassius Winston, sleeper pick. Obi Toppin is my real pick, rookie of the year.
Okay, and I think we covered all of them. I don't think we're leaving too many guys out. You talked about LaMelo Ball. I thought about also Anthony Edwards. I thought about. I just don't know with Edwards and playing next to Big Cat. I still don't even know about like the mental state of him. Right. I'm worried as a draft pick about his like commitment to the game, but we'll see. All right, we'll see.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that is kind of underrated when you talk about Anthony Edwards is the Timberwolves probably have some of the worst role models in the NBA. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play defense, so he's not going to learn any defensive intensity from him. D'Angelo Russell is still famous for being the snitch with the Lakers. That's really all he's known for.
Because you don't let it die, Swanee. We stopped talking about it 7 years ago.
And Malik Beasley had some legal issues over the break.
That was one of the picks I was considering, but no, right? Stay as far away from him as possible. Right. He'll probably be suspended for a long time.
So, I mean, I don't know if he's exactly being – and then they got Ryan Saunders, who is a young head coach. I don't know if he's going to have a great control over the locker room. And it's not like this guy is coming in saying, I'm ready to play. I want to be an MVP one day. He's like, I would rather play football, but I guess I can play basketball.
You got to stay away. In my fan life, all the players I know that had that type of mentality, that attitude, their careers fizzled. It's like it has to be a part of you. You have to love the game and then mix that with hard work, and then you get some true success. Yeah. If it's ever off like that, it's a dangerous recipe.
All right, so now I hate to do this to you.
No.
Get it out of the way.
No, I don't. Yeah, let's do the next one. Yeah.
I don't know if Coach Z prepared a Coach of the Year, even though he is a coach. He says coaches don't matter. So I guess I'll just
I say coaches don't matter in the NBA.
My Coach of the Year is Steve Nash, because when you look at Coach of the Year, it's normally not a coach that was already with their team. You don't normally point to that. Like if the Pistons were to improve, it's not because of Dwayne Casey. He already had the opportunity. So it's normally a new coach. And even with teams like the Warriors, where that improvement was coming, where Steph Curry was already looking like he was going to become a superstar, Steve Kerr still won it, even though he probably didn't do a whole lot.
Oh, I think he did so much, though, because he had the same exact roster, that initial turn, but he was able to extend them from first-round playoffs, second-round playoffs to NBA champions.
Right. So with Steve Nash, especially if he's able to control the Nets locker room, I think that's going to play a big role in it. If they only have, 0 or 1 major blow-ups, that would be huge. Also, I compare this team a lot, locker room setup and kind of talent setup, to the Boston Celtics with Kyrie Irving, where they had a lot of young stars, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, who got opportunity because of injuries and then kind of had to be put to the side. So we'll see how they deal with it. If he's able to have those players understand that they are not superstars yet, then, they could be a great team. They could be the best team in the NBA. I don't think that's out of the question. So there's just going to be a lot of locker room problems. And if Steve Nash can control those, then they're going to be looking pretty good. And I think he'll have a really good shot to win Coach of the Year. And then my sleeper pick is Steven Silas, the head coach for the Houston Rockets, for kind of the same reasons. He's a new coach, which fits my criteria. And the Rockets are already having major blowups. Westbrook is gone. Harden will most likely be gone. And if not, it's going to get a little awkward. So he's going to have to deal with questions about that for the whole season or for a couple of weeks until he gets traded. So he's got a pretty decent roster to work with. I didn't have them making the playoffs just because of all of those problems. But if they were to sneak into the 8th seed, especially after losing Harden, or sneak up, as high as 5 or 6, then I think, especially when you look back at the preseason struggles, that he'll be in a great position to win Coach of the Year. Of course, this is contingent basically upon Harden's trade, because if they keep Harden and they're a top 6 seed and Harden decides he's happy with Houston, he's not going to win Coach of the Year because everyone's going to look at Harden. So if they lose Harden and they still perform with all of these preseason struggles, then I could see him winning Coach of the Year. But it's unlikely, so I'm going to Steve Nash. And do you have any picks, or?
I mean, I just want to comment on your picks. Like Swanee said before, I think professional basketball, besides a handful, is one of the most devalued position as a head coach on an NBA basketball roster. It's like you have those 5 guys on the floor. Many of those top superstars call their own plays. They control the tempo. They make a lot of decisions. When you say Steve Nash, I think Kyrie had the same sentiment early on, just saying that he doesn't even see us having a head coach. KD could be head coach. I could be head coach. And I know he walked back those comments, but it's pretty much like, hey, we're the superstars of this team. We're going to run the show. But you brought up a great point. Now that I've explored what makes great coaches like Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich and Eric Spoelstra and Phil Jackson from the Bulls heyday, even like Flip Saunders with that Detroit 5, you just make it work. Even though you have superstars, talents, everybody buys in, everybody's a part of this team, and you keep everything in balance. So I think that's an excellent choice of yours to say Nash, if he can keep that locker room under control, because you have a mixture of personalities and potential conflicts. So good pick, Swanee.
Thank you. And now,
who won Coach of the Year last year? This is how much I don't even pay attention to it.
It was Nick Nurse, Toronto Raptors.
Okay. And then who could have it been, though? It could have been Frank Vogel. It could have been Eric Spoelstra. I think they had excellent. But we're basing it off the regular season, right?
Yeah. So let's move on to – we'll go Defensive Player of the Year. Another somewhat boring one. Coach Z, since you didn't have a prediction, I'll let you start us off.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to go with what I did last year. I really think – Huh?
Kawhi or PG?
No, did I say that last year? How do you remember all this? This was a potential MVP candidate for me. I think my pick for Defensive Player of the Year, I do not think it's going to be Giannis. I don't know. It's just something with voter fatigue with the NBA. It's very difficult to pick up multiple or consecutive awards.
Right.
But I think, and this is going to kind of play into some of my other awards too, though. Lakers are fresh off of a championship. LeBron is nearing the end of his career. I mean, who knows? He may play for 60, 70 more years, but I think he's nearing the end of his career. And he's ready to turn the keys, give the keys to the city to Anthony Davis. And I think Anthony Davis is really going to, if he hasn't already, just take that ownership on both sides of the court and put it in his all. I think they have such a well-constructed, deep team that you can really focus a lot of energy on both sides of the court and then get whatever substitutions you need to keep that energy and that pace high. So for my Defensive Player of the Year, it's going to be Anthony Davis.
Right. That's who I had too. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yep.
Especially after last year, I feel like some media personnel are going to feel like they kind of owe him one, because there was kind of an outrage, especially since Giannis got eliminated. Everybody saying Anthony Davis should have won. Anthony Davis should have won. Kyle Kuzma tweeted to the media. He threatened the media, if you mess this one up too, there's going to be a problem. So, I mean, now that Kyle Kuzma's, I would be afraid of Kyle Kuzma. So
he just signed that contract extension.
Yeah, 3 years, $40 million.
Be afraid.
His agent deserves the ring. So
yeah, he also had a really good game last night. Granted, Anthony Davis and LeBron didn't play.
We all know Talen Horton-Tucker is the real superstar for the Lakers.
He's the real MVP. Forget Caruso. Forget everybody. Forget Toppin. Why is he not in the conversation for Rookie of the Year?
So, yeah, AD is just the obvious answer. He'll probably lead the league in blocks. He'll probably be up there in steals. He's gonna, especially as the NBA trends towards taller players handling the ball, like KD, Giannis. He's gonna be defending those top players. We saw him in the finals defend Jimmy Butler. But I do want to say this. I was looking at Twitter yesterday and I saw Tim Duncan was trending because people for some reason, there is a
Yeah.
small group of people that really, really believe that Anthony Davis is a lot better than Tim Duncan. I don't know if it's just because Tim Duncan wasn't flashy, or if he's just people have just forgotten.
They may have forgotten. I mean, I think when I seriously started watching basketball was early into Tim Duncan's career. So I've seen it from his rookie year all the way until when he retired. So yeah, it's probably the flash. I mean, and also the game has changed. So like Tim Duncan did not shoot three-pointers. I mean,
Right.
he may get one when they blow a team out by 30 points. Anthony Davis has the range with his shot. But I don't, yeah, that's a tough comparison.
I mean, I'm gonna get some fans probably pretty upset, but if you look at accolades and stats, I mean, the closer discussion is Tim Duncan or Kobe Bryant, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, it's not a question in my book, especially if you just look at hardware. Like, he's a part of winning franchises, and he was a huge reason for why those franchises won.
Right.
Consistently make the playoffs, be a finals MVP, win championships. Like, Anthony Davis has one of those.
Yeah. With one of the best players of all time, with the first or second, maybe third, depending on who you are, best player of all time.
Absolutely. And I guess the argument for the Twitter fans are, if you picked it today, both of them in their prime, who would you go with? And that's when maybe Anthony Davis's ball handling ability, his longer range shot fits more in today's NBA model than the late 90s throughout the 2000s, where you could be a post up player that's kind of like dying. But then again, I would argue if Tim Duncan grew up in this era, he's the type of person that's disciplined. He sees what the game needs, how he should improve. He would add a 3-point to his arsenal.
Right. So who do you have for sleeper for defensive player of the year?
There's no sleeper for defensive player of the year. You know why? Because when is the last no-namer that became a defensive player of the year? This is the biggest like name recognition award you're going to see. It's
Right.
going to be a Rudy Gobert. It's going to be a
Rudy
Giannis.
Gobert, the third biggest contract in NBA history, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he signed a massive contract
Oh,
extension
that's
yesterday.
awesome that the COVID crisis did not forever damage him and Donovan
It
Mitchell's
definitely did not
irreplaceable
damage his
relationship.
wallet. He is going to be set for lifetimes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just don't. Can you name like a defensive player of the year that's like, oh man, I didn't see that
I
coming
mean,
with
the
a
recent
name?
ones, Draymond Green, Kawhi, Gobert,
Yeah, but even
Giannis.
Draymond did it for like 3 or 4 years before he ever won that award, you know. So I have Bam from the Heat as my sleeper. Not really a sleeper. I think he's in contention with Anthony Davis. What really stands out is like that Jimmy Butler interview where I heard it from a superstar about what he thinks about Bam, because I have my own opinions, and he's like, man, he means the world to this team. He's their
Right.
engine. Defensively, we won so many games due to him. I think you remember, I think it was the Eastern Conference Final with that like epic block at the very end for them to
On
seal Game
Tatum, yep.
7 to move on. It's like if that could symbolize his value on defense to the Heat for the entire season, that would be it. So I'm going to say Bam, especially if he's healthy, can play the whole season. He's just such a defensive-minded, energetic player that I like to watch.
I'm going to go with my sleeper here is Josh Richardson. Got
Okay.
traded to the Dallas Mavericks.
Yep.
And I have pretty sound reasoning for this, but like you said, it's not really an award for you got to be you're basically a star to win it, or at least somebody that's the media like looks
Yeah,
upon
you had to
favorably.
finish like second, third, or fourth the year before to have a shot the next year.
Yeah.
It's like this
So
rotating carousel.
yeah, I mean the same 4 or 5 players are in contention every year. But the Mavericks traded for Josh Richardson, and the Mavericks had one of the worst defenses last year. They put up like 125 points per game on offense, but they could not stop anybody. So if the Mavericks turn their defense around, if they are a top 4 seed and they have a top 10 defense in the league, I think a lot of people are going to look at Josh Richardson for that. So, he's going to be guarding the Devin Booker's, Spider Mitchell's, the star guards throughout the year, Kyrie, Steph, Dame. So he's going to take a lot of those big assignments. And if the Mavericks improve on defense, if they're a top 10 defensive team, if they have a good seed, then I think a lot of the attention will go to him. But when does Josh Richardson ever get attention? So,
Ever.
especially playing next to Luka Doncic. I mean, Luka seems like a pretty humble guy that would say, like, I think Josh Richardson deserves this award. He seems like the type of guy that would say that. But no,
It's
it's a
tough.
sleeper pick. That's what it's
Yeah.
supposed to be. Somebody that has no chance, but if they win it, I'm gonna look really smart. So Josh Richardson, my sleeper pick. I mean, like I said, I feel like the reasoning is there. If the Mavericks improve on defense, you look at their newest acquisition, somebody who's got a reputation as a good defender, and you would immediately point to him and say, well, if he's able to raise the whole defense with him, he's got to be in the running. But is he a big enough name? It'll probably just be Gobert, Anthony Davis, Giannis again.
Yeah, and I
So,
don't know. I know Swanee, like Josh Richardson, he's like 6'6", right?
6'6",
I'm
6'7".
I'm kind of curious about. I mean, now it just seems like this is the tall man award. Why don't they change it to tall man award? We got fast man, now we have
Fascinating.
tall man. Because really, I mean, I'm thinking about like Anthony Davis and Giannis, like Gobert. These are all huge individuals. Even Draymond is like 6'8",
Even
6'9".
Ben Simmons, who was in the running last year.
Ben Simmons, yeah, 6'9", 6'10". So man, I think because they equate not just steals but blocks to that award. So you have to be kind of tall to get blocks, unless you're like a anomaly like a Draymond that gets his collection of
Right.
blocks and steals. I'm just curious of when the last player 6'6" or under won a Defensive Player of the Year award. What is Kawhi? How tall is Kawhi?
He's like 6'7".
Okay. I'm trying to think of like shutdown defenders, like maybe a Pat Beverly or a Bruce Bowen. I don't know if you remember the Spurs with Tim Duncan. He was like that guy that just guarded their best player, but
Right.
okay.
I mean, it's been a while. It's definitely been a while.
Yeah.
So moving on, we'll go to most improved player. You started last one, so I'll start this one.
Easy.
I feel like it's cliche to give it to a second-year player because they're supposed to improve.
All my candidates are second-year players.
But I'm going to stoop down to their level. I'm going with a second-year player from
Hold
the
on,
Chicago.
Swanee, before you go. Don't say both of your picks. Let's go back and forth.
Okay.
All right, you say one, then I say one. Just because I'm worried that you'll steal my two.
Kobe White.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that. I heard that in many NBA circles.
I mean, he's an elite. He's got elite scorer potential. I'm not going to say he's an elite scorer. He's going to have those scoring numbers. He's going to go probably for like 20 points per game some nights. He might even average close to 20. I mean, Lauri Markkanen has not shown the improvement we were expecting from him. So it's kind of the Kobe White, Zach LaVine show. It looks like it might be going into the season. It's not going to go to an old player. That never happens. It's probably going to go to a second or third year player. Kobe White, he was a top pick. I believe he was the 7th overall pick in the draft. So people are expecting him to improve, to take a leap. And I think he's going to take that leap. And yeah, I'm going Kobe White, most improved. And my other pick, well, I'll let you say your pick first because I have a feeling we're thinking the same person. Who do you have?
Maybe. So a few things. One, who won last year? Because I refuse to make this mistake again.
It was not Pascal Siakam, unfortunately.
But he should have. He was so improved.
It was Brandon Ingram.
Okay, thank you. Because I was getting ready to say Brandon Ingram. I'm glad you told me that. No, of all the lists that I've made, this is the one with the most names in it. I love this. I love Most Improved. That's my favorite award. You know why? Because it wins fantasy championships. And when we get to that, you find those most improved players and they have that huge jump from last year's stats to this year, you're almost guaranteed to make the playoffs and
Right.
in contention for your championship. All right, so I'm looking at like a void, like the New York Knicks, which we said we have our Rookie of the Year candidate, where there's going to be a lot of opportunities, room for growth. You have your minutes, you have your shot opportunities. So I'm going to go good old Shea from OKC is my most improved. I think.
Well, that was such a curveball. You're talking about the Knicks?
Oh, well,
I thought you were about to go with RJ Barrett.
OKC and the Knicks are here.
I thought you were going with RJ Barrett, Coach Z.
No, I'm looking at the OKC roster. They are fighting for the number 1 pick in the lottery in the West.
Yeah, for sure.
What's that?
I said for sure.
Oh, yeah. So I just think OKC has said, we have gotten rid of everything right now besides you. You know, Chris Paul is gone. Steven Adams is gone. We got you George Hill and Al Horford, but they're at the end of the road, you know, getting ready to go to the horse farm. Here's the ball. It's in your hands, and you have the opportunity to become a superstar, the face of the franchise. And I think they tried to do that last year, but Chris Paul does demand a lot of touches, so you really didn't turn over the keys. Now you see it. He's going to have plenty of opportunity for shots. Like Rookie of the Year, I think points is the most
It's the
heavily
most,
weighted category for most improved. If you have a huge jump in points, that carries more weight than some of the other metrics. So I think he'll have a chance to definitely improve on those points numbers. But like I said, there's just so many names in there that I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm excited to say the rest of my picks.
Wait 1 second. I want to pause the recording real quick. I got to do something I forgot about. I'll be right back.
Did you pause it? Nice.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all good.
So to your point about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the only thing with him is I could see defenses keying in on him this year because, like you said, the Thunder have no one. So as his shot attempts might go up, his assists will probably fall, and he's going to get the other team's best defender now. And as a 23, I think 22-year-old player, I don't know if he's ready for that. I was going to go with DeAndre Ayton, but I didn't realize he was already at 18 and 12 last year. So how much more can those stats really increase?
Yes.
I think he could be an all-star, but most improved, when you already have those great stats, it's probably not going to happen unless he maybe goes to 25 and 13 or 14. Maybe that happens, but I don't know. I just don't think it's in the cards for him. My sleeper pick is OG Anunoby from the Toronto Raptors because
it's a very popular fantasy pick there.
The Raptors are going to struggle this year, I think. They don't have a lot of talent, and I don't think he'll be the next Kawhi, but I think he's got the tools to be somewhere similar to where Kawhi, like a lower grade Kawhi Leonard. He's a decent three-point shooter. He's a really good defender. He's going to get more opportunities, especially if Pascal Siakam doesn't go on the trajectory that some people are hoping he does. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar. Kyle Lowry is starting to decline. He's getting older. I still think he'll have another close to all-star season this year. I don't know if he'll be an all-star. So we're going to have to see OG Anunoby take a huge step up, become a more of a scorer, especially since they've lost Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. He's going to have to be more of a distributor. He's going to have to do a lot. And, if either of these guys win it, I would not be surprised at all. OG Anunoby is one of my favorite players. He's got a cool name, and
coolest name.
Cool name. Maybe he likes playing in Tampa Bay. Maybe that warm weather gets that jump shot going.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with OG Anunoby as my sleeper pick, Kobe White as my winner. But like you said, there are so many names you could throw out here. Michael Porter Jr. is one who, technically, I guess he's kind of a rookie because he only played in the bubble. So he could be a player that improves. Even though Jamal Murray kind of already had that jump in the bubble, people are still saying he could win most improved. Same with Tyler Hero. I mean, there's so many names that you could throw out here. And who's your sleeper pick, or did you not go with a sleeper and just went with all of your top picks?
I went with all of my top list. It was the biggest list. So just real quick, let's just do a gut check. I'm just going to say those names, and you just give me on a scale from 1 to 10, how likely you think they have a chance to win most improved. Okay, let's go Ja Morant.
That is a good one. I would say.
Oh no, gut check. 1 to 10. I don't need a sentence. I need a number.
I'll go 4.
De'Aaron Fox.
I'll go 3.
Jaylen Brown.
6.
Ooh, Markelle Fultz.
6.
7. Give me a 7.
7. We'll go 7. 6.5.
All right, good. John Wall.
2.
Oh, Zion Williams.
3.
3. Okay, and I had Michael Porter already, so you mentioned him.
Yeah. 7.
Am I missing anybody? Are we missing anybody from that most improved category?
I think you named just about every player.
Draymond Green.
Steph Curry.
The resurgence.
Kevin Durant.
Oh, I can't wait till we get to that fantasy. Oh my god, I'm so mad at myself.
All right, now let's move on to 6th Man of the Year, which is one of my favorite awards because this one is all about scoring. I'm going to assume we have the same pick. So I'm going to say what my pick is, and I want to see if it's the same one for you.
Yeah, and I'll just agree.
It's whoever's off the bench for Brooklyn. It is Karis LeVert or Spencer Dinwiddie. That's who I have.
Okay, that's really good. I love LeVert, Karis LeVert. I'm not a fan of Dinwiddie.
Okay.
And I only because I was looking at both of them for fantasy. I'm just wondering what they're going to produce with Kyrie, healthy Durant there. And Dinwiddie's last game was and I know you can't judge it by games, but it's just like the overall like field goal percentage and stuff. I think he's almost like regressing. So
well, he also is starting with them right now. He might come off the bench and take a step
I think
forward.
He's going to lose that starting role.
I agree. I didn't think he would start coming into the season.
What's that?
I assumed that he would be the 6th man. I thought LeVert would start.
Yeah. I think maybe because the ball handling skills or something. He's bringing the ball up the court playing number 1. But yeah, I could see that. That was definitely on my list. I know this is very cliche, but I think Montrezl Harrell, the winner of last year, is in great contention this year. You have joined a better squad. They're going to give you plenty of minutes.
For someone that doesn't like the Lakers coach, you're giving them all the awards.
For those type of awards, you
sure
got to
finish.
Frank
Vogel isn't coach of the year too?
No, there is no coach of the year. Coach of the year is LeBron James. Remember, there are no coaches in the NBA.
He's general manager of the year.
Palinka, yep. Look at this. For 6th man of the year and for like MVP, defensive player of the year, you're going to have to compete in your conferences. And we all said our last debate mates that we have the Lakers at number 1 in the West. We all said that the West is better than the East. So when your team is going to be the best in the best conference, there's going to be awards coming from your squad. But let me give you the sleeper, though.
Okay.
Maybe it's not even a sleeper. I don't know if he's a starter or on the starting 5 or on the bench.
You pick like LeBron James?
LeBron James, 6th man of the year. No, Jordan Clarkson for Utah Jazz.
Okay, yeah, he's been coming off the bench.
I was so close to getting him for fantasy, and I loved it. He was the best player in preseason, like last game, and you talk about coming off the bench, direct scoring points.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you could average 20, 0, 0, 0, and 0, and you would still probably be in contention for 6th man of the year. That's all they look at.
Be. Because that is the difference maker between you and every other bench player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because those bench players, they cycle in all the time, but your job is to get boards, it's to defend, it's to give our superstars a breather. If you're coming in to actually contribute offensively, not just defensively, like most of the other 6 players, that gives you the edge up. That's why you just look at points.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going with LeVert or Dinwiddie because they'll probably average 18 to 20 points per game. If it's Dinwiddie, he'll probably average 4 or 5 assists. And my sleeper pick is Davis Bertans, the Latvian laser. That guy can shoot it, and if he's coming off the bench closing games with Westbrook, he's going to get a lot of opportunities because Westbrook, he is a little bit of a stat padder, but one of the stats he likes to pad is assists, and he will have a lot of fun getting assists with Davis Bertans. Yeah, I mean, he's going to probably hit 4 or 5 threes a night, which will already give him 15 points. He can make a layup here or there, so he could come close to 20 points per game, I think, and that's really all you need.
How many minutes do you think he's going to play?
I could see him getting up to 25-ish. I mean,
okay.
He'll probably close games instead of like Troy Brown Jr., who is their small forward. Probably put Rui Hachimura at small forward.
That's another cool NBA name, Hachimura.
Hachimura. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to score a lot of points. He's going to be entertaining to watch. He's a shooter, and shooters, they average a lot of points. I mean, you look at a guy like J.J. Redick, who's never been an all-star, never been close to an all-star, and he averages like 18 points per game for his career just because he's a phenomenal three-point shooter. Bertans is taller than J.J. Redick. So, he's got a little bit of an advantage there. Their percentages are pretty similar. So I'm going Davis Bertans because he could average 18 to 20 points per game easily.
There
And
is no way that man is he averaging 18 to 20 points a game?
the Wizards are going to score probably like 130 points per game.
No
They
way.
don't
Okay,
play
no,
any
this is good.
defense.
Tell me more.
They'll be fast paced. They're led by Westbrook. They're just going to go up and down the court, shoot a bunch of threes. So Davis Bertans, somebody's gonna have to be the.
But Swanee, you realize, I mean, you talk about over 20 points a game. That is like 5% of the NBA. Less than that.
Well,
Players.
The Wizards are, trust me when I say, they're going to score a lot of points. They are not going to play defense. They're going to just put all of their effort into scoring. And Bertans is
I want you to tell me more. He actually went undrafted in the fantasy draft, and I took a few players ahead of him, and now, yes, convince me. Convince me to pick him up in free agency. 20 points a game? What am I doing on debate mates? I got to get on my draft and pick this guy up.
So I think Russell Westbrook is going to average pretty close to a triple-double this year because he's going to have the keys. And he's going to be passing a lot to Beal and to Davis Bertans. So if he's going to get 10 assists, I'm assuming a lot of those are going to Davis Bertans. The bench is the Wizards.
I need to pick him up right now. I don't know why we're talking. I need to go to my fantasy roster. Who am I going to drop and get this guy before it's too late?
The Wizards bench is pretty thin. Bertans will get all the shots. He's probably going to play a lot of minutes with the starters. I mean, I'm talking like he's my number one pick. He's still a sleeper pick.
Are we doing Sixth Man of the Year or MVP? I forget what category we're on.
He's a sleeper pick. But
okay. You have sold me. As soon as you said his name, my ears perked up because I remember I had this huge debate in my head of should I get him or should I take the other players I'll talk about later? And I didn't take him. And now it's like regrets.
You missed out. Now let's go to the biggest award there is. Everybody's favorite, MVP.
LaMelo Ball. Lonzo. It's gonna be a dual MVP. Lonzo, LaMelo. The voters couldn't decide. They had a co-MVP this season.
Well, this voter couldn't decide. I've got somebody or somebody.
We already know who your pick is.
I'm divided between my two favorite players.
No. Oh, I didn't even add him. But, I thought about that walking down the stairs earlier this morning. I was like, yeah, that would be a good MVP pick.
It's Kevin Durant or it's Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
My heart says KD, but my head says Luka. Vegas.
Yeah.
I know you love Vegas. Vegas picks Luka.
How did you know I was going to bring up Vegas?
Because you always bring up Vegas. Vegas picks Luka.
Vegas knows. They're right. They said who's going to win the NBA championship last year, the Lakers. They're right.
I mean, I think they'll be a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, so they got that going for them. Luka will have the narrative. He's the youngest MVP ever. He's the next coming of LeBron.
Yeah.
He's a global superstar. He's clutch. Nobody hates him. Everybody loves him. Then we got KD, who got the narrative coming off the biggest injury that a basketball player can basically have, aside from getting a leg amputated or something like that.
Yeah, maybe a Paul George or a Gordon Hayward.
His reputation has become a little bit better now that he's with Kyrie, because people look at Kyrie and they're like, oh my gosh, what is this guy doing? Maybe I feel a little bit bad for Kevin Durant. I mean, you don't hear people talk about how much they hate Kevin Durant anymore. Now they're seeing him back in action, and they're like, wow, we should appreciate this guy. It seems to be the more of the consensus with me.
Yeah.
Instead of people hating him, saying his rings don't matter, they're like, okay, this guy is pretty good. Let's start to give him some respect. So the fans have kind of turned on KD in a positive way, which, that fits the narrative. The injury fits the narrative. He's going to average probably like 28 to 32 points per game, I think. He's going to get a lot of shots. And the only question is, does he play enough games? If he plays less than 60 games, then it's probably Luka. If he plays more than 60 games, then it's probably KD. So if I had to give you my pick on the spot, it's Kevin Durant.
Okay.
MVP.
I thought we were actually going to take Luka out of the discussions just because he's such a favorite for this season. If you look at his line from last year, it's just incredible. And you only look at maintaining or even improving on those numbers.
Right.
So yeah, I think we both agree like Luka's definitely up there. So I kind of shied away from Luka. I think that is the expectation. Just try to like throw it off a little bit.
Go with Anthony Davis. I know you are.
Yeah, you know I was going with Anthony Davis. How'd you know?
You gave it away when you were talking about Defensive Player of the Year.
I know. Ah, but you're right. I said too many Lakers in here. Lakers are terrible. This is for Coach Stretch. He texted me before this, like, hey, you better represent.
You're a Lakers fan now, Coach Z.
Yeah, right, dude. There's no way.
Okay to admit.
All right, what about this for my sleeper pick?
Wait, but what about this for MVP?
I can't even bring myself to it. There's a name on here. I'm like, maybe.
Wait, say it. I'm intrigued. I need to know.
I just thought that maybe Jason Tatum could elevate his game into
Coach
the
D?
super elite.
That is my sleeper pick.
Oh, is that your thing? I looked at like where were you and where are you now photo, and they showed like Jason Tatum early in his career and then now, and then I remember the playoffs in the bubble, they threw their best defenders at him and he would still score. He's like,
he's number 10 highest odds for Vegas.
Okay, all right, so maybe I'm not too.
I was wondering if he was a sleeper pick enough now that he's top 10 in contention.
I don't know what it is about the Celtics or Tatum in general, but it's just hard for me to see him ever garnishing enough votes if his game, I don't know, but I can see if we talk in the conversation like he leads the Celtics to a top 2 seed, if of course the award would be over, but if he takes them on a long playoff run, maybe even gets to the finals, who knows, like then I could see him in that upper echelon category.
Yeah.
But he has the makings and the tools of it. I just wonder, like, mentally, where is he and does that translate to the court? But like, you got rid of Hayward, Kemba Walker is starting the season injured, so he's going to have plenty of opportunity to showcase of why he's the team's best in the NBA's elite.
Yeah.
And then can I throw out this other one just for the homer pick?
Throw it out.
Steph Curry.
I mean,
you remember? Okay, you texted me saying, "Oh, 3 for 10."
Right? 2 for 10. 2 for 10, Coach Z.
2 for 10, and as soon as you said that, Curry's like 4 makes in a row.
I mean,
18 points in a quarter.
Anthony
he finished
Davis,
with 29.
I think has no chance to win MVP because he plays with LeBron.
Okay.
Media loves LeBron, and they will just take votes away from one another, especially if Anthony Davis starts to look like he's better than LeBron or has better stats than LeBron.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Anthony Davis averaged
good points.
I don't know if you know. Do you know who like the points per game averages between the two?
Very close.
Who do you think averaged more points per game based off of like the conversations last year with MVP and stuff?
What do you mean in terms of like all players in the league or just
LeBron or Anthony Davis?
Anthony Davis?
Okay, dang it, you were right. That goes against my point, but
yeah, no, like I'm pretty sure
than LeBron, and LeBron was still the one that got all of the credit.
Yep.
Anthony Davis could average more points than him again. He'll average more rebounds probably again.
Yep.
More blocks probably again. More steals again. Higher field goal percentage again. But as long as LeBron is there, as long as LeBron is still old, unless he de-ages, they love that LeBron old narrative. That is the NBA's favorite thing to shove down our throats. LeBron is 35 years old, and he is still amazing.
He's still amazing.
So that's why no one on the Lakers, until LeBron is in his wheelchair, will say will win MVP over LeBron.
And then it'll be Bronny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I didn't think about that. You having LeBron on your team, all the credit goes to him because if you're having a great season, it's because of his coaching and leadership ability.
And then for the sleeper pick Tatum, I was thinking about this last night. The Celtics are going to start the season with like 6 NBA caliber players. And I mean, like every NBA player is obviously really good, but 6 players that you can actually throw on the court with confidence. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jeff Teague, Daniel Tice. Maybe there are only 5. I think there's one I'm missing.
Start it? Yeah.
And then you got Kemba and Tristan Thompson, who are both injured at the moment.
Yep.
So they are one of the – they have no depth whatsoever. So if they are – I mean, I even think I might have overrated them when I said they were going to be the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference.
I think I
They
had
could
him
easily
lower.
fall down to 6 or 7, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So Tatum is going to have to take a massive leap in order for them to even get the 4 seed, I think. I don't see it from him. It's kind of a weird thing. Everybody acts like he's already established himself as a top 15 player. I still am not ready to anoint him as like an elite NBA player, the top of the top. I don't even know if he'll be last year he was not even an all-star. He was an all-star, but he was barely even in contention. It was not until after the all-star break where everybody was like, okay, this guy is really good.
Yeah.
So he was really, really good for 50 games. And other than that, he's a borderline all-star for his career or for that season.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same discussion with Jamal Murray. Yes, he was amazing for 25 games, but I had not seen him do it for 50 games. I have not seen him do it in the regular season. He is always a guy the last 2 seasons that should be an all-star who comes out and is like 18 points on poor shooting. That's why I can't say he's a top 25 player like some people, shout out Stretch, do. He hasn't proven it to me yet. It's kind of the same thing with Jason Tatum. He's been an all-star, barely, and then he exploded. I need to see him do that in a regular season at regular NBA arenas for 72 plus games for me to actually believe that he has the MVP potential.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to do it this year. The Celtics are going to be – they have no depth. It's going to be him and the rookies, basically.
One thing I really like about him, though, I'll just add this last point. Then can we do gut check for MVP again? I love gut check.
We can do gut check.
Yeah, love it. Okay, is that like Tatum? He reminds me of almost like Paul Pierce with the Celtics, where he will lead his team in many statistical categories or be the top 2 players in all of them. But there's very few flaws in his game. Like he is a average field goal percentage and then above average in every single other category. Free throw percentage, rebounds, 3 points, assists, steals, blocks in the whole NBA. And he's actually above average in turnovers too, which is rare because usually when you have that combination of players like a Harden, Anthony Davis, and Karl Anthony Towns, they turn the ball over a lot.
Right.
So he's like good at everything. So if he can just elevate those stats just a little bit more in each of those categories, he gives himself an uptick for MVP. But you ready? Let's do gut check.
Let's do gut check.
All right. Hey, is James Harden 300 pounds or is that just a bad angle? Was that a bad angle?
400 pounds.
I mean, I don't know what picture I saw, but he has like been living a good life since the NBA season ended.
He's been training in Las Vegas,
No, I mean, I was like, who is that man? This is like a baseball player or a first baseman or something, like
Kendrick
300
Perkins.
pounds.
It was Kendrick Perkins coming out to play.
Absolutely. All right, so just from 1 to 10, likelihood of someone winning MVP, I'm just going to throw out some rando names, all right? So let's go James Harden, the 350-pound special.
4.
Okay, Anthony Davis.
7.
Karl Anthony Towns.
2.
Oh, Steph Curry.
8.
Yeah, Damian Lillard. I know you've read boards and blogs, and people love Lillard. Like he's gonna win before Steph Curry. Why? I have no idea.
I'll go 8 with him too. I think Steph Curry is better. I think anybody that doesn't think Steph Curry is better is crazy.
Okay, thank you.
Damian Lillard has kind of become like the golden child of the NBA.
I don't
for whatever reason.
Why. He's a poor man's Curry. Poor man's Curry.
Let me say this real quick, because then you can go back to gut check.
Okay.
The most overrated player in the NBA
is Harrison Barnes.
Is Damian Lillard.
Okay, I agree.
People act like he is a top 6, top 7 player. He's not. People act like he is one of the greatest clutch performers in the league. He's got moments, but do we forget that he also got swept by the Pelicans with CJ McCollum when Drew Holiday locked him up in a playoff series? Do we forget about that? And all we only act like he didn't get swept by Stephen Curry.
Yep.
In not last year's Western Conference Finals, but I guess 2018, 2019 Western Conference Finals. Did that not happen either?
Especially when they were out without Durant too.
Yeah. I mean, that was Steph Curry putting on a show. Steph Curry, Draymond Green were really good that series.
Absolutely. And I think Damian Lillard, I mean, they had 20-point leads in like 2 or 3 of those games too, and you let it all slip, and they needed a bucket from you.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, you don't have to convince me. Convince the debate mate fans that are Damian Lillard fans.
He hit the clutch shot against OKC. He did that. He can hit shots from the logo. He's got a lot of flash, but he is always a borderline all-star. I think he's normally an all-star, but a lot of people, he has been snubbed many times. I saw one thing where it was like consistency is key with Damian Lillard. And
Yeah.
his awards from rookie season to now, it's basically just the rookie of the year. He's not all NBA. He is a really good player. He's a star. He is probably my 11th or 12th best player. But he is not on Stephen Curry's level. They are the two top point guards. I would agree with that, as long as we're not considering Luka a point guard, because I think Luka's better. But it's like Steph is here, Dame is here. They might be 1 and 2, but they are not like this. Or they are not like this.
Oh, that is funny that you say that, though, Swanee. I'm going to just go – I'm sorry to take us off on another tangent, but we have some, like, projections up here about Lillard and Steph looking at their career stats. And I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, so I do think like this, the difference. But statistically, they're a lot closer than I think. And I wonder if Dame was on Golden State and Steph was on Portland, would we be talking about Dame like Steph Curry and vice versa? So
I don't think so.
But like, okay, so this is projection wise for this season based off of your career averages from previous. 45%. They are even with field goal percentage. Steph and Dame shoot the same field goal percentage.
Okay.
Free throw percentage, 91 to 89. You're talking about 0.2 of a point. Steph edges him out barely. 3 points made, 1/10 of a point. Steph Curry edges out Lillard. Points, Dame has a little bit more points. Rebound, essentially the same. Assist, Damian Lillard favors Steph Curry in assists by 1 whole assist a game. Steals, pretty much the same. Blocks the same. Turnovers the same. So really, maybe they're a clone.
No.
I didn't realize how close their numbers are because I'm the one making that argument the whole time. But you're right. It just goes down to winning, right? You got to win.
I mean, yeah, Steph Curry never would have gotten swept by Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's true. But there's some things you got to take. That's my mistake. I look at stats too much, and I think Coach Stretch, and you're really good at this, is looking at actual basketball in terms of like, do they win? There is something with winning. You know, that's why like James Harden isn't in the MVP conversation of some of the other players because he doesn't consistently win. He's a great stat player, but he's not getting to that next level. You know, Giannis now, the same argument.
Yeah. All right. So I think
we got a lot. We got a lot to go. All right. Ready?
I think it's time. Let's do.
Can we do gut check for 5 more players?
Okay. Yeah. Gut check, and then we'll do a good pick, bad pick.
Oh man, sorry. Do we have enough time for this?
We have enough. We can make time for good pick.
Okay. I love talking basketball. I don't know if anybody's at this part of the video, but if you are, just hit a like or a subscribe or put a comment on there because you're the real OG. You're the MVP of this channel. All right, Kawhi Leonard.
3.
Jokic, the Joker.
7.
Ooh, yeah, that's Trae Young. 0.
1.
I knew you were going to say a 1. Okay, Luka.
10.
Okay, Devin Booker.
6.
I don't want to give you Vietnam flashbacks for this one, but Joel Embiid.
He was my pick last year.
I know.
I'll go. I'm going to talk myself into him. I talked myself into the 7.
You always talk yourself into him.
I'll go 7.
Kyrie.
3.
Giannis. 3 times in a row?
9.
Nice. Actually, 9. I don't see any. After because this is what happens with MVP voting. They give it to you based off the regular season, and then how you do in the playoffs determines your next year's chances. No, he can't get it. Jason Tatum.
5.
DeAndre Ayton.
0.
LeBron James.
8.
Jimmy Butler.
5.
Kevin Durant.
10.
Chris Middleton.
-1.
Oh. Okay, I think we have to stop that. Russell Westbrook, maybe tripped up.
6.
Okay. Chris Paul.
3.
Fred VanVleet.
2. 1.
DeMar DeRozan.
0.
Pascal Siakam.
3,
Brandon Ingram?
2,
Okay. I think we're good. Porzingis?
11. He's
I
my
want him so bad. I couldn't take him.